Hello student, good morning once again and welcome to my chemistry channel Amazing Chemistry Classes. I am your friend, your chemistry teacher and educator by profession, Dr. Rohit Chakravarti. Welcome you. So today I am going to start a new topic for the class 12, that is D and F block elements, a very important chapter of inorganic chemistry. Every year multiple questions comes, so I thought I must give you some questions, as already I have discussed and uploaded multiple videos on P block element, very important questions which I have uploaded for group number 15, 16, 17 and 18. I hope you guys must have seen those videos. So I request you once again, do share my videos and subscribe my channel so that I can get motivated, and your comments are very important. So let's start today's video. As you can see, this is the NCERT book. Here I have shown the D blocks of the periodic table contain the elements of the group 3 at 3 to 12, in which the D orbitals are progressively filled in each of the 4 long periods. The elements constituting F block are those in which the 4f and 5f orbitals are progressively filled in the later 2 periods. Alright. Now coming on to this point, that there are mainly 3 series of the transition metals: 3D series, that is scandium to zinc, 4D series from yttrium to cadmium, and 5D series lanthanum to mercury, omitting cerium and lutetium. The fourth 6D series, which begins with actinium, is still incomplete. The 2 series of the inner transition metals 4f and 5f are known as lanthanoids and actinoids respectively. Alright, so let's discuss. Let me show you what are the configuration and what are the transition elements given in your NCERT. So here it is given in your NCERT table number 8.1, outer electronic configuration of the transition element in the ground state. Here you can see these are the atomic numbers: scandium, tritium. So there is a mnemonics through which you can learn this. There is Sakti, Vikroman, Fiko, Nikuzan. Okay, so in this mnemonics you can learn Sakti, Vikroman, Fiko, Nikuzan. Atomic number 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 respectively. Alright. Now moving on to the electronic configuration, as you can see in 4s and 3d, the outermost shells, it contains 2 number of electrons. Alright. So these are the number of electrons in the 4s orbitals in different elements, and this is the 3d outermost shell, which contains unpaired electrons, number of unpaired electrons given. Okay, so let's talk about the other one, 3D then 4D, that is yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum. Okay, so in this way ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, cadmium, and respective their molecular weights 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and their this electronic configuration, that is the electrons in their 5s and 4d orbitals. This is the second series. Third one is here only, from lanthanum to mercury. Alright, different elements you can see: osmium, iridium, platinum, gold. Okay, their respective atomic number from 57 to 80. And in the 5d orbitals you can see 6s and 5d orbitals, the number of electrons in their outermost shell. Similarly, the fourth series from actinium series, as I told you, from actinium to UUB. Okay, so their atomic number from 89 to 112, and the number of electrons in the 60. Alright, so this is very important. As you can see, I have given you a brief description about 4D, the transition element. D block elements are it is given in your NCERT. The consequence of the factor is reflected in the electronic configuration of chromium and copper in the 3D series. Consider the case of chromium, for example. This is the electronic configuration of chromium metal, that is 3d5 and 4s1 instead of 3d1 4s2. The energy gap between the two sets 3d and 4s of the orbital is small enough. Hope you understand what is written over here, that there is a energy gap is very less, very small enough to prevent the electron entering 3d orbital. Similarly, in the case of copper, the configuration is 3d10 4s1 in spite of 3d9 4s2. Okay, so now let's discuss a few questions which I have taken from your previous year papers. Yes, coming on to the first question, that is Most of the transition metals ion exhibit characteristics colors in the aqueous solution. What is the reason behind that most of the transition metals have colored in the aqueous solution? So the answer would be most of the transition metals have unpaired electron. As I told you in the electronic configuration, that transition metals have d orbital as an outer orbital, and they are having unpaired electron, because of which what happened, there is a dd transitions, and by absorbing visible light, and after that when they comes to the ground state, they radiate the complementary color. Okay, now moving on to the next one. Next question क्या एक बार पढ़ते हैं. That is, many of the transition elements are known to form the interstitial compounds. So what is the answer for this question? Why transition elements form the interstitial compounds? Because transition elements have voids of suitable size in which small atoms like carbon, hydrogen, boron, etc. can fit into forming the interstitial compounds. Okay. Moving on to the next one, that is the enthalpies of atomization of transition metals are high. Why it is so? The high enthalpies of atomization transition elements are attributed to the involvement of n-d electron in addition to ns electron in mm bonding. Okay. Moving on to the next one, that is transition metal tend to be unreactive with increasing atomic number. So there is a behavior in which what we can see that while increasing the atomic number, their tend to reactivity get decreased. So what is the reason? Reactivity decreases with increasing atomic number due to decrease in the size and increase in the ionization energy. So as I have already discussed in the p block element also, to be more reactive, less ionization energy should be required. But what happen in case of transition element, what happen when the atomic size increases? So the amount of energy required for ionization will be more. So the reactivity automatically decreases. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, that is only transition metal can form complex compound with ligand like CO. Okay. So what is the reason behind it? Carbon monoxide it is. Transition elements are smaller in size and have vacant d orbital. Very important point to understand, and you should learn by your heart, that these elements are having the vacant d orbital of suitable energy which can accept the lone pair of electron. Why they are called transition element? Because there is a dd transitions, and they are called d block elements because d orbitals are vacant and they are having unpaired electron in the d orbitals of suitable energy which can accept the electron. Because they are having unpaired electrons, so they are looking for the more electrons to accept to get stable configuration. So they can accept the lone pair of electron from the CO, so they can form complexes. Okay. Moving on to the next one, that is zinc, cadmium and mercury are generally not regarded as a transition element. What is the reason behind it? That is, neither these elements nor their ions have the incomplete d orbitals. So to be a to be called as a d block elements, they need to have a unpaired electron in the d orbitals. Okay, that is why zinc, cadmium and mercury do not considered as a transition element. Moving on to the next one, that is among lanthanides, lanthanum 3 compounds are predominant. However, occasionally in solution or in a solid compounds, +2 and +4 ions are also obtained. So answer for this question would be lanthanides show the +3 oxidation state and mostly has 2 electrons from the outer 6s orbital and 1 electron from the 5d orbital take part in the bond formation. However, +2 and +4 oxidation state are also sometimes observed due to half filled and completely filled 4f orbitals. Okay, so the answer would be for this lanthanoid series, what happened, there are +2 and +4 oxidation state because due to the half filled orbital of 4f series. So the answer is that this is the important point, that however +2 and +4 oxidation state are also sometimes observed due to half filled and completely filled 4f orbitals. Remember, very important point, that in case of lanthanoids, they are having half filled or completely filled 4f orbital, because of which they show +2 and +4 ions also obtained in case of lanthanoids. Okay. Next one is the metallic radii of the third 5d series of transition metals are virtually the same as those of the corresponding members of second 4d series. This is due to the intervention of 4f orbital also, which are filled before filling of 5d orbital series. What happened during the electronic configuration while filling the electrons? What happened? 4f orbitals get filled first rather than your 5d orbitals. So this results in a regular decrease in the atomic size in lanthanoid contraction, also known as what happened, because there is a electron filling in the 4f orbital respite of 5d orbital. So there is always a lanthanoid contraction and compensation for the expected increase in the atomic size by increasing atomic number. The net result is that the second and the third D series exhibit similar atomic radii. So this is the reason why the metallic radii of our third 5D series of transition metal are virtually the same. They are having the same atomic radii. The reason behind is that there is a regular decrease in atomic size because of lanthanide contraction and compensate for the expected increase in the atomic size with increasing atomic number. So the net result would be the second and third D series exhibit the similar atomic radii. Moving on to the next one, that is chromium 3+ ion is more stable than chromium 2+ state in aqueous solution. Why is it so? Because chromium 3+ is smaller in size and has higher charge than the Cr2+, okay, which leads to the greater hydration enthalpy. Because it is having it is having the more hydration enthalpy, so Cr3+ is more stable in aqueous condition, aqueous solution. Moving on to the next one, this copper 2+ ion has D9 electronic configuration, while cobalt 2+ has D7, yet it is less paramagnetic than CO2+. So what is the answer for this question? Let me read out that the number of unpaired electron in